Hour number 3, the final countdown. Steve and Seth McKinney. Hey, friends.
How we doing?
Good.
We are literally into the final countdown of the season,
This
baby.
is, man.
This is
exciting.
it.
I don't
This
know.
is it.
Did you guys hear Billy's rant towards the end of the 9 o'clock hour?
I did not.
I thought it was inspiring.
Update me.
I thought that I was getting scolded, but
He
it was,
gave a whole. Let's give me a little.
basically.
quick
Don't let
synopsis.
Billy repeat it. We'll be here all day.
It'll
Yeah.
be a while. Basically,
Easy there.
go hour.
Seth, what are we going to go eat a salad today? Can't even enjoy Friday
and
lunch
salad.
with him anymore.
I know.
It's gotten out of hand.
What? Salads?
The way he orders.
Oh, you're so ridiculous.
his
Don't
heart.
even.
Right, Steve?
Don't
Yeah,
even start.
Hey,
No,
right, Steve?
Steve. Don't try to chime in with me. Don't try to Don't
We got
you
the liver
dare.
king, and then you
Come
got the
aside.
kidney king over here.
You know, can I say something real though? When there was a thing called Lubies.
What
not a
about
thing
it?
anymore?
Well, I
Let's
guess
go get.
There's a couple of them. But you know what he used to order at Lubies?
Yeah.
Don't say it.
I won't.
You
But
know
I.
what he used to order at
What?
Lubies? You go in there and you got all that stuff you can order. There's a whole, he would order liver and onions.
Oh,
I love it. I love a good irony organ meat.
Very healthy.
the old.
Give me more.
He is the liver
I don't know if it's
king.
very healthy. It's deep fried liver.
Oh, deep
But
fried.
it's just delicious, though.
I used to always try to get that because it looks good, and then you eat it, and you're like, oh,
Yeah, I'm out.
it's
It's
disgusting.
an acquired taste.
Apparently.
Anyway, that's your brother. And I wasn't chastising Nuno. I wanted to finish the rant without getting derailed.
Okay.
And he had a good point, but it wasn't to be. It needed to wait till the end, which unfortunately for him, we had to go straight to break.
Yeah, it was.
He came back and got it in along with the chastising text. Seth, you've had a commentary about Steve's shirt, I believe.
I didn't realize it was from 2013.
Yeah, baby.
That was a great.
This is the good
Cotton
old
Bowl,
days.
by the
This
way.
is
That
the
was
last year we won 11 games.
Well, that
in
may have been.
2013.
So it was a 2012 season.
I'll put that. You could put that game on.
That's where we're going this year, Seth.
You could put that game on a top 5 list of best games I've ever attended.
So he's actually wearing a 12-year-old.
It's ludicrous.
I was trying to find a black shirt.
Christian, C-Rod would be totally excited about it.
right now.
This is my only black shirt I could find, guys. Ease up.
I was trying to update the guys on what I thought was a very eloquent rant at the end of the 9 o'clock hour, where you basically were like, look, they haven't been bad the last few weeks. They haven't played, what was the word that was used, playing poorly? Your thought was that they haven't been, and you gave examples of why.
I just don't think that, I think what we're saying is, we'd all love for them to look like they did in the second half of LSU or throughout the Missouri game every week. You know what that's called? They would be the number 1 team in the country, and they would be undefeated right now.
Right.
And if they did that in every game since Notre Dame, they would probably be ranked like number, 5, because they'd be just clubbing everyone. And my point, guys, I said in year 1 under Mike Elko, he hasn't had the time to build anything. He was building for, first and foremost, this season. That you can't. I don't think you can expect that. And by the way, I would love to go down the list of teams in this league and ask you who's playing amazing football. So let's say the first team somebody would say would be Ole Miss.
They didn't.
And I'd say these guys were losing at home to a bad Oklahoma team like 3 games ago.
Yeah.
They lost to LSU, the team that A&M bludgeoned 4 games ago. They've had a couple really nice ones in a row, obviously, with Arkansas, Georgia. Like Georgia, where are they at?
Up and down.
Are
Everybody's been just like
humiliated
us.
Are we talking about expectations right now from the beginning of the season?
No, we're just trying to talk about the concern is A&M. It's one of these narratives.
Are we talking about New Mexico? We talking about South Carolina? Because
Everything.
South Carolina, there was nothing about New Mexico. That game is nothing.
Yeah, but the narrative that not just from here but elsewhere seems to be A&M's come back down to earth. They're really not that good.
After one game, you have one bad game, and we've come back down to earth.
Because now we're picking halves and quarters, and I just think the answer, Nuno, is the Aggies aren't an elite team.
Right.
They're just a team that's good in a lot of areas. They're not really
grinders.
great
They found
anywhere,
a way to
maybe the
win.
D-line, and they're just, yeah.
They're gritty.
All right, well, and when you go out and you don't tackle like they did against South Carolina, you get what happened that game, all right? So I'm giving you that, but you're going to sit here and not be extremely happy about this year in the first year under Elko when my expectation was to be way worse, no offense, than we are right now. I'm like extremely happy because I'm a fan, all right? But I'm looking at this and going, you've given me a tremendous amount of hope, Aggie football players. Thank you, and Coach Elko and everybody on that staff. That like you go out and do what you got to do against Auburn, you're going to have the biggest game in the history of Kyle Field played on Thanksgiving weekend.
In year one. I think the thing, the reason this is being said is it's trying to be painted into why this Auburn game is so scary. But I think you're missing the point of it is the Auburn game is scary because of Jarquez Hunter and his 7.0 yards per carry, because of Keandre Lambert-Smith and his 8 touchdowns, because of Cam Coleman and his 17 yards per catch in the freshman, because of
that's a different discussion altogether.
But my point is, you should be worried about that game because if you flipped Bama, okay, Bama everybody's high on right now, right? Mm-hmm. Alabama, they're just, they're back. Kalen DeBoer, and they went to Baton Rouge and beat LSU. Okay, so if you put Bama going into Auburn this weekend and you flip the Iron Bowl to this weekend and Bama was playing at Jordan-Hare at night, people would say that is a dangerous game for for Alabama.
Yeah.
If Texas was going on the road at night to play Kentucky, who's not even very good.
It would be scary.
You would say that game is infinitely more daunting.
No doubt.
So it's about who they're playing, where they're playing, when they're playing, and it's about like, yeah, man, I know A&M doesn't really blow teams out, but they have won 1, 2, 3, 4 SEC games by multiple scores. We haven't seen much of that here.
I mean, no one's trying to anoint this A&M football team to be something that they're not. Yeah. Like you said earlier, I truly believe it. They're a very good football team.
Mm-hmm. Well, and guys, some of the pessimism has to be centered around losing your starting running back.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You're right. And,
I get that.
Sure. Right. Like that, I think that's where it comes from because you want to see it so bad that you're like, well, the best offensive player is out, but Amari Daniels has been fantastic for them. Different type of running back. And then still waiting on Chase Basantas to be back. That's where I think some of the pessimism comes from.
You're right. I mean, there's a lot of questions because we want the offense to look the way it's looked in previous games when they've been successful. But in the back of your mind, you're a little nervous if we're capable of looking like that because we haven't truly seen it yet.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this weekend is going to tell us what kind of team we have going into that Texas game.
Moving forward, yeah.
Absolutely. Because if we can go in and move the ball efficiently, run the ball well, hit some play actions down the field, get Reed's legs going a little bit, I think everybody will feel real good about going into that Texas game. But right now, there's just too many question marks.
Steve, I think you're right on, if there's something to make me feel really good about A&M's chances against Texas, Auburn's number 3 in the SEC in run defense. I think they're number 3 in yards allowed per game defensively. If Marcel and Amari can successfully run the football against this DJ Durkin defense, if they can successfully run the football against them, I'm going to feel infinitely better about their chances against Texas. Now, if Auburn slows them and shuts them down or slows them down, makes it difficult, and the Aggies just have to grind one out, I'm not all hope is lost guy.
Yeah.
Because I think going on the road and winning that game is going to tell me a lot about this football team again. And by the way, if they win, Nuno, and they win Arkansas, Florida, Mississippi State, and Auburn, and they're 4-1 in SEC games away from Kyle Field, after what we'd seen the last few years,
that's pretty good.
That might be the most impressive thing Mike Elko would have done in year one.
Yeah.
Because we know what that history's been. It wasn't long ago where they had a 10-game road losing streak when they were going to the Swamp. It was 6 weeks ago or whatever. But I agree with you. Can the Aggies impose their will against Auburn at the line of scrimmage? Can this D-line dominate and slow down the SEC's second leading rusher? Can they make life miserable on Peyton Thorne, at which time he starts making costly mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
Can the O-line create running lanes for 5 and 10?
Yeah, the biggest question that you're bringing up there is the offensive line. I mean, I think that they have got to go out and prove that they can be better than what they were, even against not only South Carolina, but New Mexico, like you were saying, is that Shanahan's got to have a great game this week. And then hopefully whatever happens with Basantis happens at the Texas game. But that's a key battle right there, because interior, they've got that kid that's a really good player. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Well, all across their front, their front seven, their secondary. I mean, their defense is going to be good.
Yeah,
we're gonna. This is definitely one of those games. If your offensive line has ever needed to step up and take over a game, this is the one. They have to show up. Period.
I also think this is a Colin Klein game, like Colin Klein versus DJ Durkin. And I feel like people disrespect DJ Durkin here, and this isn't personal. I really didn't get to know him much. I think I met him like twice. Nice guy, but this is I think it's personal for Durkin just because knowing coaches. I mean, he didn't really get fired from here. It was Jimbo that got fired, but you know how coaches are. Probably personal for Isaiah Rakes, which it shouldn't be because he chose to leave. So it should. See, now, if I'm you or you and I'm playing on the O-line, I want to kick that dude's ass. Like, I would want to whip his ass for 4 quarters and the whole game tell him about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Every time I put him on his back, I want to get up. I want to walk the line of almost getting flagged. I want to be like a total jerk.
But that's the kind of guy that Shanahan is, so hopefully that thought's going through his head.
Hopefully so. Like, you left us. We want, Elko wanted Isaiah Rakes to stay. That was an Isaiah Rakes decision, even though Elko recruited him here. So that, to me, that's almost like a slap in the face. So I don't feel like, oh, this guy wasn't wanted. Forget that. It's the opposite. So hopefully this O-line, hopefully Trey Zune.
Yeah, that's what we said about Matt Schobel, right?
How are you bringing up Matt
Schobel? Y'all did kick his ass. Schobel. By the way, Columbus plays here in College Station tonight, Seth. If you're interested in going to watch.
See your old buddy Aaron. Isn't he the head coach?
Watch them play, run power the whole game.
Who's the head coach at
Matt.
Matt is.
Yes.
And his son's the quarterback.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Going to TCU.
Okay.
Hell,
wouldn't you know?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't hate it if A&M gave him a call right now. Although that's Schobel, he finally landed on the alma mater, so I don't know if you're pulling him from that one. But anywho, Colin Klein versus DJ Durkin is if I was writing the key matchup still, that would be one of my key matchups of this football game because Durkin's a good DC.
Yeah, I thought
he did a good job at A&M.
I'm not discounting him at all.
He didn't do it. I wouldn't call it like a great job. He did a good job here.
By his third, this last year? I mean, he had it rolling.
Yeah,
pretty good.
They did a good job. There was he did a lot better job on defense than they were doing on offense. That much we know.
Yeah.
So this is one where if Colin Klein, like it's going to have to be execution, like you said, Seth, by those guys up front, but also the scheme and how they scheme up. Durkin and the Tigers. Yeah.
By the way, Michael Lucchese made peace. He just wants the game this weekend real bad. So
the Texas game.
Well, he wants this game.
Oh, he wants to win this one.
Yeah, so he's
bad.
just
okay.
He's good.
Like I said, I love your boots.
I don't think they're related.
I mean, I thought blowhard was a little harsh to lead it off.
I don't think he meant that.
It's like but it's like when you start off like. Ease into the criticism, and we can like have a conversation.
Like Leroy Jenkins right into the
like a criticism sandwich. Do it in the middle. Come with love. Exactly. Billy, you're great, but I love you.
I'm a carb guy. Give me some bread.
You were making fun of me, Billy?
No, I wasn't, David.
I saw it pointing.
Was I?
No. You can bet. If you could bet when Billy's talking, he's probably making fun of you. So.
No, you're so defensive.
We were talking about lunch.
But you pointed.
No, I pointed at my phone. I was like this.
I'm sorry.
Get a load of this guy.
I have a little PTSD because I'm used to getting picked on.
Trust me. If Billy's talking, he's either exaggerating or picking on you, so it's one of the two.
Me and Michael Lucchese feel like we're getting picked on too much, right?
Are you Michael Lucchese? Did you send that text?
Maybe
I wasn't looking, and he's like,
Got him. Tell him that.
All right,
We're all Michael Lucchese is what we are.
guys. What have you seen from the offensive line in Chase Basanta's absence the last few weeks?
I mean, it's definitely been a drop down. I wouldn't say it's like the end of the world type of performance, but you could tell. I mean, Basantas he's a very, very good player, an NFL player in the future, and I'm excited to have him come back and get healthy out there. But Shanahan is not a bad player. He's not as good as Chase is, I don't think, just yet, but I think that he has a great potential as well. And hopefully he goes out and has a great game against Auburn because he's going to need to do that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you got really, just at that position. I mean, I think you lost a little at center when you went. What's his name? Naboo. When you lost Naboo, you took a little step down. And the same thing at left guard, and I think Dewberry and Shanahan are both playing well. They're playing good. But Basantas was playing great.
Yeah.
Like he was playing at a very high level this year. So that's what hurt losing him, I think, is he was actually becoming a difference maker at left guard.
Yeah, he and Zune right by each other.
You haven't seen that at left guard since like the mid-90s. Billy.
Who's better left guard, you or Seth?
Oh, me. Hands down, dude. Seth was the center. He looked like a.
Didn't you play guard?
He looked like a fish out of water at guard.
I played left, but I was at right guard. Playing left guard, putting your hand down with your left hand. I mean, Steve obviously had all the vast experience, but snapping a ball is something different. But right guard was easy transition there.
Really?
I loved right guard.
Yeah, it's different putting one hand versus the other.
Shanahan, don't forget, Shanahan had kind of made a move at center.
Yeah.
He looked like he might take over starting at center there before he got injured.
Yeah.
And then, you had to shift.
And I actually liked
Coley,
him.
Who's done
I liked
a good
him
job.
at center. I liked what I was seeing at center, and then he get hurt.
Yeah.
Comes out of that game, and then
Now he's at
Basantas
left
goes
guard.
down. Now he's back at left guard. So I mean, that's what happens in offensive line. You have to be versatile. You have to be able to play multiple positions. Unfortunately, the musical chairs can sometimes takes the whole group back just a half step.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't take that half step forward. We just haven't quite done it yet.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe we see it this weekend.
And you've had several weeks of it now, so it should be taking that step.
This would be the game to do that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's what happens.
I want to get the panel's thoughts on this. Lane Kiffin's comments, and then what Urban Meyer had to say. I don't know if you guys have heard both of these comments.
No, let's go. I'm interested.
So Lane,
Put on the spot.
and Lane in a good spot, by the way. I understand. I wouldn't have said it, but I understand what he's thinking. I've talked to other coaches, so they'll just give you the kind of feeling that other coaches have. They don't want to be in the SEC championship game. The reward, get a bye in the CFP versus the risk to get knocked out completely. I mean, that's a pretty big, really big risk. So that's his thinking. Urban Meyer goes on his podcast that he does with Rob Brown, I believe it is. What do you mean? You hope to not go to the championship game? Like you don't want to play in it? You want to go eat dinner afterwards? You get up in the morning, you're driving back to work. Do you say, boy, I hope we don't win the SEC championship? I mean, that doesn't compute.
No, I see both sides of this, and I think I know where they're going, and I'll get there in a little bit. But yeah, you want to make that game for sure. All right, you want to be in that game. You just don't want to lose it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, because I have said this all along, and I know people have various opinions about the power of Sankey and the power of the SEC to go in and demand that the loser of that game goes no matter what. I just don't think if A&M, it's not because we're A&M. It's because of the A&M situation of being in that. If they do lose, they'd be a 10-3. It's not good situation, and I don't think that they make it. But not because it's Texas A&M, but because they lost 3 games. That's my opinion on it. But yeah, I want to be there. Desperately.
I get where you're coming from, but I want to completely disagree with you because in my mind, and I think a lot of people's minds, I don't know what the committee's minds are thinking because they seem to be all over the damn place. But if you're a 10-2 team, you just beat the number 3 or 2 or whatever they're at that point, and you go to the SEC championship game. First of all, you're going to be ranked somewhere in that 7-9 range. You're going to be playing against somebody in that 7-9 range. And if you lose that game, even by 10 points, there is no chance that you're going to sit there and tell me that the runner-up in the SEC does not deserve to be in the college football
I'm not
playoffs.
saying deserve. I'm not saying
Here's
that.
my
I'm saying
argument.
committee.
Here's my
that would be a
argument. This is what I would tell
I
the
agree
committee.
with you.
This is what I would tell the committee, and this is what Greg Sankey has got. If it comes down to this, the A&M's got 2 tough games to get there. But if they do, and they did, and by the way, if they win these 2, they'll have a real chance to win the SEC title game. But if they don't, and if they're 10-3, and Greg Sankey has got to go to the committee and say, look, problem is that dumbasses on the committee don't view the SEC as the best conference. Clearly they don't.
It's ridiculous.
They view the Big Ten, and it ain't even close.
Have you seen the strength of schedule?
Yeah,
Like,
in those
it's
morons'
absolutely
minds. But
ludicrous.
what needs to happen, you realize if Texas A&M plays in the SEC title game, there are 16 teams in this league, including Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas. There are 16 teams in the conference. Only one would have been 7-1.
Right.
They've played 8 games, only one. So not only would you be leaving out a 10-3 A&M team, you would be leaving out the team that through the regular season finished in first place.
With only one SEC
There wasn't like
loss.
some 6-way tie where the Aggies and Bama both got in because of weird tiebreak. I mean, A&M would be the only team that went through the league with 1 loss. Not Texas, not Bama, not Georgia. So that, to me, would be as big an argument as anything else. Then you'd have the head-to-head versus Texas and say, how do you put the Longhorns in over them? So there's a lot that you can say.
Okay, at that point in time, though, you just have to have a lot of faith in the committee, which, no offense, I just have zero faith in that committee.
I'll make a prediction right now because I feel like we've seen this happen in, at least some point in the years past, where you get into that last week of the season and you see them kind of reset that top 10.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
You've seen that happen where, people that we've been saying are overrated all year.
Indiana,
like all of a sudden they're like out of it. They drop them out of it. And Texas, like if we beat Texas, where do you put them? They've got 2 losses. They haven't beat any
one spot right behind it.
Where do you put them? You're telling me you're gonna put them in the playoffs over A&M, regardless of what they do in the SEC championship?
Come on, man.
Well, let me.
There's no
By the
way,
way,
dude.
can
That's
I
crazy.
just jump in with something
There's no way.
completely random?
Sure.
You guys saw Bryce Underwood flip
Yeah.
from LSU to Michigan, and
$12 million supposedly, right?
Portnoy's been making a big deal of it, and this is wild. This is, and I will say, like, I don't like this about college football
No.
now, and look,
It's ridiculous.
we are active on the NIL front here, but this is just getting. Michigan's collective puts out a statement. We want to thank our founding members and others associated with Champion Circle who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make it possible to continue our work building championship teams in Michigan. Here's what gets crazy. Founding member and chairman Nate Forbes said, "We are very excited to keep Bryce home in Michigan as he continues to build his legacy." Okay, so their collective is putting out statements about this high school recruit,
It's crazy.
thanking him and talking about his legacy. I want to personally thank, I can't read this because it's so dark, Jolyn and Larry Ellison, who were instrumental in making this happen by providing Champion Circle with invaluable guidance.
Cisco, Larry Ellison?
Oracle,
yeah.
okay? So
Yeah. And what's his net worth again?
$220 billion.
That's like, he just made that.
231
In this conversation,
billion.
he just made that.
So
We need a salary cap, man.
that is, and I'm not like A&M's way up there in the haves or have-nots in this thing. So it's not like sour grapes, and I'm not acting like A&M players aren't really. But this, like, it's getting crazy. And when you see statements like that, I'm like, okay, then let's see the Texas Aggies United. Let's start putting out propaganda to go recruit guys.
Yeah.
And let's have people openly, A&M's got some big donors, openly go out and put videos out like Dave Portnoy and say, hey, guess what? I feel like throwing around my net worth and going and buying the top quarterback in the country for next year. I want we lose this, we're looking for the best wide receivers in the country to come to A&M, come here and you're going to get or hey, Seth McKinney, Steve McKinney, I'm talking to you. You talk about like the 2 5-star linemen A&M's recruiting, Michael Fasusi and Lamont Rogers, like, hey guys, I'm worth X number of $1 billion. I want you at it's just,
it's crazy.
that stuff's in play now. It's in bounds, and it's crazy to me.
It is crazy, but it's not going anywhere.
No.
Not right now.
Sucky as that is.
Studios, time for the Freak of the Week.
It's the freak of the week.
I don't know if you guys were in sync there.
I felt pretty good in sync.
Let me just try it
pretty
again.
good.
Let's go,
Seth
JT.
was off.
It's the Freak of the Week.
It's the freak of the week. Okay, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
It's the freak of the week.
You're expecting me to start, weren't you?
I was.
All right, I'm going to do it again.
No,
Okay,
we blow
Good
it.
chance.
Do it with me conducting. Ready?
There you go.
Oh, wait.
It's the freak of the week. All right, you guys suck.
I have lost. Oh my goodness.
Seth, why don't you start?
By the way,
us off?
Seth, I went and saw it back-to-back, or Friday night Creed Matchbox, no, Three Doors Down, Tuesday night Jelly Roll. So big
Nice.
concert week that you
was-
were not a part of.
Well,
which
thank you.
actually would have enjoyed both of them.
Big jelly.
Big
roll.
Jelly
Now I'm
roll.
gonna go with we got to have a great game out of him and continue doing what he's doing and build on what he did last week, throwing the ball that he's the best that he's thrown. And Marcel, man, I think he's going to do a great job. We're going to need him to just continue what he's doing on his legs and continue what he did last week with his arm, and we'll get there. I thought that I was very impressed. I know it was New Mexico, whatever, but at least he was getting the ball there and putting the ball where it was able to be caught. So I was very impressed with that.
Yeah.
I agree with Seth, but we'll pick another one.
Okay.
I'm going to go Jabri Barber. I think somebody's got to do it in the receiving game, and I think Colin Klein can draw up some quick timing throws from Marcel to get it out of his hand and get it to Barber and let him make some things happen and maybe soften up that defense a little bit to where they run the ball more effectively as that game wears on. So I think he could be maybe not necessarily a ton of yards, but a volume reception, kind of almost like that not possession, but that stay ahead of the chains weapon. For the
No, absolutely. We'd love to see some yards after the catch
That too.
from this offense. I'm surprised nobody picked Amari Daniels.
There we go.
You know?
Somebody just did, it sounds like.
No, I'm actually going a different direction.
Curveball.
I do want him to be a freak this week, but I'm going with a little different direction. I think Nick Scorton.
Yeah.
This is a week where if we're doing a really good job shutting down the run, living in that backfield, pressuring Peyton Thorne, he doesn't perform well under pressure. He has a tendency to, make bad decisions. So I'm hoping that this is one of those games where we really get in the backfield and live on that quarterback. And I'll guarantee you one thing, there's no chance that this dude is breaking up tackles in the backfield like Sellers did.
That was
No,
ridiculous.
he's not, but
He's just not.
And I know he can
I'll tell you
escape.
what
He's
I
not
need to
bad.
see better of from A&M, and it involves Scorton and Shamar Stewart and these DBs, is they better hold the edge.
Yeah.
And they better set the edge on, Jarquez Hunter, because he can pop it outside and rip off big plays. So that to me is going to be the key.
Yeah.
Is how do your DNs
No doubt.
play the run?
That was some
Because
bad.
if they do
that was
that,
bad against South
if they
Carolina.
do that, then they're going to get to Thorne because they're going to be behind the chains. And if they can pin their ears back, they'll run through this Auburn O-line. But
Surely
they got to win.
Surely
early
they
now.
fixed that from South Carolina.
You would hope. I mean,
Surely
that's
they
a
fixed
must. And, but they have been that when they do give up rushing yards, it does feel like they give them up on the edge and the perimeter. I think a lot, maybe as much because of the DBs in run support than the ends. But it has to all come together. They just can't let. It'd be very hard to run inside against these guys.
Absolutely, for sure.
All right, now it's time for the Sleeper of the Week, presented by the Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask about the Tempur-Pedic mattress or the Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey in front of the Lowe's at William D. Fitch and Highway 6. The website, thesleepstation.com. Steve McKinney.
Oh, yes, baby. Give me the Swede.
Nice. There
You
we
saw,
go.
you saw against New Mexico, New Mexico State, excuse me. We ran a lot of the 12 personnel with 2 tight end sets. It was very effective for us. That is definitely something I could see us continue to build on, especially after you lost.
Well, you get Swede and Trey Watson then, so we don't double up this talking.
We'll take both tight ends.
You're the only one that was going to double up that talking guy.
I'm just saying.
I mean, Trey Watson too. I mean, they're both interchangeable, I think. But yeah, I mean, this is to me is one of these games, and I think really going forward is every game we play the rest of the season, we need the tight ends to be a bigger part of the passing game. You can see they worked on it against New Mexico State.
So
I've said his name a number of times on Sleeper. I know Steve has too, but Terry Bussey, I think he can bust out and have a great game and
Bussey's
utilize him in a number of ways. I don't know what they could do, but they can utilize him in whatever way they want in the passing game, the running game, whatever it is. I think that he can do that and have a great game.
Liucci?
I'm going to go with, it's fitting that I'm going to pick him as a sleeper. A few weeks ago, we wouldn't have thought this, but I'm going to go. It's a little chilly right now. I'm going to go sleep with a blanket. I'm going Will Lee. He's been quiet. He was really active and involved in a lot of turnovers early in the year. He had that whole thing with Theo Weiss and the blanket. I'm going to go with Will Lee / Des Riggs. That cornerback position, they are going to be put to the test by these Auburn receivers. But I think the combination of being tested plus getting pressure on Peyton Thorne, there are going to be a couple interception opportunities. I think we see 26 grab one. Will Lee gets in the interception column this week, makes a big play.
Pick six?
That might be the biggest stat of the entire game. Did you call for the pick six?
He did.
As I said it as a question, not a statement.
It's a play, right?
Pick six?
It's an actual play you can run.
Seth Gabe.
According to
Tim Walls.
the Walls,
Yeah, Tim Walls.
going to run a pick six.
Yeah, run the old pick six play.
We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski, you've got games for us.
Yes, I do. Number 5, Indiana is traveling to number 2, Ohio State. They're playing at Ohio Stadium at 11 a.m. on Fox, and Ohio State is favored by 12.5 points.
I got Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm picking this out of just sheer anger. Ohio State is going to cover. I hope they beat them by 50.
From there.
You're going against Signetti, boys.
He's a winner.
How could this guy doesn't lose? He's like DeBoer. He's going to figure it out. They're going to lose, but they're not going to lose by 12.5. And these losers are going to stay in the damn playoff. I don't want them to.
I agree with you.
I want them to lose by 30 and drop from 5 to 14.
Let's hope that
They
happens.
haven't played anyone. It's a disgrace that the committee.
It is a disgrace.
It's a disgrace that the committee's that stupid that they can't sit there and go, it's a nice story.
The 83rd,
but you haven't beat anyone.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Signetti. You talk a big game. You're a hell of a coach. But if you want into this playoff, this is the game you have to win. Period. You got to beat. And I would have said the same thing to Boise. Ashton Genty. Now, they could get in as the highest group of 5, so it's different. But Ashton, you want to get in, you have to beat Oregon. It's the one chance you had. You should have beat them. You didn't. You should have won that game. You didn't. You don't play anybody. SMU. Okay, wait. SMU. You want in? Beat Miami. Get the automatic.
There you go.
Miami. If you can't beat SMU,
You don't deserve
then you're
to be
out
in.
because you already lost to Georgia Tech. Same thing I say about Texas, but even more so because Texas at least is in the SEC. But if you finish a 12-game regular season and you don't have a meaningful win, you need to be out. A&M, if they played Kentucky and let's say Auburn at 1-5, if you don't win those 2 games, if you go 10-2 and you didn't beat Texas and LSU's fallen and Missouri's fallen, you should be out. Georgia should get in over you. Ole Miss, Texas, all of them. Like, if you don't win a meaningful game, you're out. So even like if A&M went 10-2 and they didn't beat anybody, you're out. I would have been sitting there like, please Missouri beat South Carolina. Please LSU don't go on a 3-game losing streak. We need games that matter. Texas, Indiana, Miami, SMU. If you don't win a meaningful game, your ass is out. It should be that way. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to allow.
Agreed.
Somebody said I'm
Co-sign.
ranting a lot this morning. You're damn right
Ranter.
I am. You're damn
This
right.
season's really building up on you. I can tell.
Hey, I'm ready. You know what?
Okay.
And I've got revenge
Maybe
on
not.
my mind.
Mm,
Revenge on my mind. And it's coming in a week
you
and
should
a
have been
half.
playing Mo Bamba during that.
Looking
race.
ahead, Billy.
I'm not looking ahead, but I'm looking. I need some ammo provided by my Aggies.
You're looking at the nice horizon.
Yep. Go ahead, Seth. Oh, go ahead, Nuno.
No,
You
I'm going to
gotta
allow McKinley to talk.
pick. Okay.
Okay.
Polanski.
Number 9, Ole Miss is traveling to Florida. They're playing at 11 a.m. at Florida Field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. It will be on ABC, and Ole Miss is favored by 9.5 points.
Oh, my
You
word.
tell me no one in Florida's donor base has named that field yet? It's still Florida Field.
Ben Hill Griffin.
Well, what about the field?
Oh.
Naming rights.
This is at Florida.
Well. I don't know, man.
What's the spread, McKinley?
9.5.
Ole Miss by 9.5.
I think Ole Miss.
I'm going to go Florida.
Ooh, Steve just lost because Ole Miss is going to roll.
No, I think Florida's going to hang in there. Lagway's,
No, they're not.
Lagway's playing pretty good.
Ole Miss's defense is too good. Ole Miss's defense is going to get after Lagway. They're going to punish him.
We'll see about that, buddy.
They're going to punish his ass.
I'd like to be wrong.
He's not going to be able to. And Trey Harris is coming back. And
But if I'm wrong, they better lose. That's all I'm saying.
I think Ole Miss wins this one pretty big. SEC Mike said 42-17. I don't think quite by that much, but I think they cover.
I got nothing to lose, boys.
With me, hey, I've been
I'm
on
in
a
fourth
miserable miserable streak. I went from
We
10
all
games
have.
over to like 1 game over.
Yeah.
I mean, OB's in first place.
By a game.
That's how
Along
bad
with
this
with
the
you.
year is.
Walrus.
Tied with you.
That's how bad this year is.
And I've had 2 good
the
weeks,
only
and I'm
person
still in
that's
second
been
to
bad
last.
is Nuno and Caroline Fenton. I think Caroline's just picking out of a hat now. She's been better in the past. I think she's just like, this is like, why am I still doing this? I'm not even. We need to get her
There's a little
on.
bit of
We
that.
might need to get her on this week. She's been doing bigger and better things.
All right, let's
Great.
go.
Polanski, please.
Number 14, BYU is traveling to number 21, Arizona State. They're playing at Mountain America Stadium at 2:30 p.m. It will be on ESPN, and Arizona State is favored by 2.5 points.
This is another anger pick. I'm going
Yeah.
with Arizona State. Cover this.
Yeah, let's get BYU out of the play here. Give me
I'm
Arizona.
actually with you. I think Arizona State wins. You got what you guys don't know. I'm predicting you have no idea and you've never watched. Nuno might have.
Watch a little bit. I like Kenny Dillingham. I do.
Yeah, Dillingham's interesting, but I'm talking about that running back, Cam Scattaboo. Have you ever seen
Scattaboo,
him?
yeah.
I've heard about him,
I
yeah.
watched him one
Dude,
game.
he can ball. He's a really good.
He's like
football
150
player.
yards a game.
He's a
He's a
stud.
beast, man.
Hard to tackle, like
What year is he?
passionate runner. I don't know.
Let's go get him.
I'm saying, like, that's a dude. That's a dude now. I watched BYU a couple times this year, and I'm just I'm good. They should have lost to they should have lost to Utah. They should have lost to Oklahoma State. I'm going with Arizona State. They're a nice story this year. I think they win it.
3 of his last 6 games: 153, 158, 182.
Let's do it.
Hey, by the way, if you're going to listen to Louis, see ya. We'll keep it going on YouTube for a few minutes. Polanski, sorry for
Oh,
the snap.
snap.
Loud
What
snap.
the hell was that?
So rude.
I love Snap's clothing.
Number 19, Army versus number 6, Notre Dame. They are playing at 6 p.m. at Yankee Stadium. It will be on NBC, and Notre Dame is favored by 13.5 points.
As much as I want to believe in the American dream, Notre Dame is going to roll this. So Notre Dame. I've already won a Notre Dame pick when they beat
Seth,
Navy.
why don't you give me a good Army?
Oh, Yarmy Fun!
What the crap, dude.
Rest Yarmy!
I'm going. I'm going with Notre Dame. People aren't giving Freeman enough. They play an easy schedule, but they've also been a wagon since that NIU loss. I mean, yeah, NIU, NIU.
Mhm.
They've been an absolute wagon. They've been killing people. They've been they've been beating the crap out of, generally, there might be an exception in there, but generally been beating the crap out of bad, average to bad teams. And I like the story of Army. I like them being ranked, but that's over with.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's beating them. There's no chance.
And
what's the spread?
13.5.
13.5, yeah.
And they're going to cover.
Do you? What's the quarterback's name from Army?
I forget.
Well, do you remember? You remember when Hunter Goodwin
Hunter
came
went
in
on,
here?
yeah.
He jinxed the whole.
He went. He talked about him for
He
like
got
20
hurt,
minutes. And,
Bryson Daly.
Bryson Daly.
Yeah, Bryson.
Yeah.
Remember Bison Delay?
Daly.
He died.
So
Are you sure about that? Because it's
I've killed people on the show before that weren't dead.
no. He's dead, but it's
It was
like a lot
boat.
of mystery
Yeah,
behind it.
it was a boat.
Is it a murder? Did he just
His
disappear?
brother maybe killed him, right?
Did he disappear and come back as someone else?
Yes.
There's a lot. There's like a documentary on it.
Oh,
He used to have a different name. Do you remember?
No, but I know.
I believe it was Brian Williams.
Right,
I
it
don't know.
was. You're right.
Okay. All right. With all that being said, I'm picking Notre Dame.
Thank you.
We went way off.
Do you know who Bison Daly is?
No.
I don't
Nobody
think so.
knows who.
I didn't either.
Well, I look.
So
If you watch Rockets basketball in the 90s,
How did
watched
you
him.
not know a guy named Bison Delay?
very easily.
Yeah.
Never
Speaking
heard of him.
Bison. What about Seth? You'd have been so proud of me yesterday during the Ask Liucci segment. Some guy's name was Junkie Cosmonaut. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Because I nailed it in 2 seconds, and I was so jacked. I said, that's from a song in the 90s, Junkie Cosmonaut.
I have no idea.
Like
What is
a
it?
junkie cosmonaut, hey, do you want to go down low?
Is that?
By Cracker.
Oh,
I'll
really?
be with you, girl.
Oh,
like being
good
low.
grief. Okay.
The fact that those two words, and I went to it, but I'm about to say, when you're talking about Bison Dele, it made me think of, this might even be Nuno that gets it first. What song did Nina Cherry sing?
Nina Cherry. Oh, gosh, that's right.
I don't know, but I've heard it.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. Gigolo? Huh, sucker?
Can that be a
That's a
hotkey?
terrible hint.
Y'all
Can we
don't
get
know.
that in
Oh,
a
my
clip?
God.
Y'all
I
don't
mean,
know.
my goodness.
Buffalo Stance.
Hum it for me.
I'm not going to.
What even?
Come on.
What is this
All right,
show?
next up.
Let's go.
Hey, by the way, just
Nina Cherry.
tip to
Just
anybody that
interrupt
likes tip to anybody that likes country. Brooks and Dunn did another reboot,
Oh, yeah?
and there's some really good ones on
Nice.
I'm checking
Go
it
ahead.
out.
Okay. Number 7, Alabama is traveling to Oklahoma. They're playing at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium at 6:30 p.m. on ABC. Alabama is favored by 14.5 points.
Phew, I'm a favorite guy, man. On the road, too. I'm going Bama, man. I think they're just going to roll Oklahoma. And I can't wait to see it. Are we still rolling on a 1-7 Oklahoma in the SEC?
That's what it's looking
That's
like.
I would like to pick Oklahoma in this one, but they're like a beaten down dog.
I love it.
They've given
I
up.
love it.
Oh.
Better be careful here. Hold on.
Yeah,
We're not on
exactly.
radio, so-
Billy, make your
Oh,
pick.
okay, we're not.
I got Bama.
I got Bama too. I think it's that one's a blowout. And even if OU like plays hard, like they're going to have such a hard time scoring points. Even if they like play hard like they did against Ole Miss, they still lose by more than that to a good team.
Yeah.
Pulaski, that's your
Don't wait for Billy.
Here it is.
Number
I remember
So
this
here we
song,
go.
yeah.
Here we go.
That's right.
Yes, I know that, but I don't know the words.
I've heard that song.
Yeah, Buffalo State.
1988, 89? Yeah. I'm good. Oh, here's the hook.
I wanted to get to that one part I did, but we couldn't find it.
Okay.
Please, save it.
And you know, have some fun.
Number
I am having fun. That's why I
Listen
said
up,
that.
man. Put the schedule
man.
off.
Life's not
put
all
the
just about
schedule
jiu-jitsu, man. Just relax.
Armbar. Be great.
Life's not all about grappling.
I'd get my butt kicked anyway. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
How'd it go with that Brazilian guy you went?
I didn't get to go.
my
I didn't get to
word.
go. I wanted to go see him.
How'd it go with that? You know, meeting at the mall with the Brazilian guy.
Carlos Machado.
You were meeting some guy at the mall.
How'd it go at the meeting, the Colombian at the Post Oak Mall?
I think Machado could take all
Saturday.
three of you, I'm sorry to say.
Well, I think I hope so.
At the same
Why
time.
didn't you go?
Kids soccer. Like my life. Pulaski.
Okay. Number 15, Texas A&M is traveling to Auburn. They are playing at Jordan-Hare Stadium on ESPN at 6:30 p.m. Texas A&M is favored by 2.5 points.
It's actually pronounced Jordan-Hare.
I know. Jordan.
Spelled Jordan.
I'll go. I'm going to go straight up. A&M's going to win this game, and I agree with what we talked about earlier, David. I think they win in that 7-10 range, and setting us up nicely for the biggest game in Cal Field history. A&M covers. Boom.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there with you, buddy. There's no chance I'm picking against A&M this week. We got to have this one.
Like I said, one team's at 1-8, and they're 5-1. It says 6-1, so they're misled me here.
They lied to us again.
I think they're 5-1 in the league, and the other team's won 4 games, and they're 1-5 in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I know that guarantees nothing, especially in the SEC, but I do think it tells you over the course of a 10-game body of work that for several reasons, A&M's the better football team. If they're playing at home, I think the Aggies roll in this one. They're not. I think it closens it up. I'm going to go with the little wimpy pick here, and I think A&M barely covers. I think the Aggies win like 24-20, 27-23.
And I will take that.
I will too. It's going to be really stressful, but I think the Aggies win close.
I will
and cover.
and
I will take it a win uncover, for that matter, and be very happy about it.
Oh my gosh, I'm not ready for that. I would love, Nuno, for you to be right. It's like a 31-21 type of game. That would be so much more enjoyable. In fact, what if I would love to see the Aggies just put it all together and say this is
us.
2 halves of LSU football. This is the Missouri game.
Let us come out the way that South Carolina came out against us.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
This is the Missouri game all over again. Like I'd like to see one of those type effort, or because every game we just mentioned, the home team did it. South Carolina, A&M. Let me go see them play like they went and showed up at
Florida.
What is it? Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at Florida Field at the Swamp. Let's go see something like that.
Let's do it.
Look, I went through. We'll talk about that later. It's not a big deal. I went and looked up A&M's. No, I was curious last night. A&M's record against every SEC team, and they're like 57-45 since joining the league. I would like to see it against other programs. I bet it's like 4th out of the 14 teams, maybe.
That feels right.
What in the hell is going on out there? Speaking of Buffaloes,
There's a meeting.
There's a lot of yelling going on,
Really,
and it's one person's
really,
voice
Very particular.
that it's like this.
Oh,
So
you're talking
anyway.
about Brawny.
I didn't hear Brody this time.
Oh,
All right. Get
All right, we're going to go. Aggies at Auburn. Big game this weekend. Yeah.
They need to do a 30
Let's
for 30.
go.